Hello, dear children. I hope you all are doing well, right? And also continuing with your studies. So, let us continue with the class then, page number 256. That is where we have ended in the last class. So, today we will start from page 257. The next topic, that is inequalities around the world. Will we be able to finish it today? Yes, we can. Alright, as I read the text, kindly follow. People all over the world have faced and are still facing some kind of inequality or discrimination in some places. There have been people who have stood up against these injustices. One such courageous lady has been relentlessly fighting for the establishment of democracy in her country, that's Myanmar. Let us know more about her. This is one of the situation which, yes, we are reading it in the text, but even right now, currently, as we are discussing, this is going on. Couple of weeks back in the news, it was very much this what you call out there. I think the army, they took over and they kept her behind the bars. It was something like that. People were protesting, lots of people were killed. So if you just go through the news, you'll come to know about it, so that you gather much more knowledge and it gives you an interesting towards this topic. It's happening currently as well. Different name, different pronunciation. Aung San Suu Kyi, the pioneer of democratic movement in Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, entered the field of politics in 1988. She was visiting her ailing mother in Myanmar when people were protesting against the oppressive rule of General Ne Win. Alright, so it all starts from history. How did it start? How did the movement started and all? So basically, she entered the field of politics in 1988, and it so happened that she visited her mother who was not well, and it was then that she found that the people were protesting against this oppressive, against the harsh rule of the General Ne Win. And on 26th August 1988, Aung San Suu Kyi addressed 500,000 people at a mass rally in support of a democratic government that had been overthrown by a military government called the junta. Or military government, junta. Please mark that. Military government. And also, when did she enter into politics? And why? Or how? You can say that as she just stepped down to visit her mother who was not well. Alright, and later on 26th August, she attended a group of people where she gave talk in support of this democratic movement, and a democratic government which existed earlier, but that was overthrown by the military, by the dictator. Alright, you can military rule, dictator rule. In September 1988, Aung San Suu Kyi formed the National League of Democracy and became its general secretary. In July 1989, the government placed Suu Kyi under house arrest in Yangon. She was offered freedom only if she left the country, but she refused. So after this talk, first of all, she visited her mother, saw the protests, gave a talk on democracy, formed a party and association called National League for Democracy, and became the general secretary. After which she was kept in house arrest by the then government, that is the military, the junta. And she was given an offer that we will leave you provided if you go away from this country, but she refused. In 1990 elections, she was not allowed to contest. Even though the National League for Democracy won many seats, the military government refused to recognize the results of the election. Today also see, it is 1990, recently. I'm not talking about 100 years ago, 200 years ago, no. The military government refused, even though they won many seats. In 1991, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, but she was not freed from house arrest. The award was accepted by her son. With the prize money, she established a health and education trust for the people of Myanmar. In 1995, due to pressure from various countries of the world, Suu Kyi was freed from the house arrest, but her movements were restricted. In 2002, she was again put under house arrest. In 2009, a United Nations body declared her detention illegal under Myanmar's own law, and finally in 2010, she was freed from house arrest. 1988, she came. 1989, house arrest, and she got free from this house arrest in when? 2010. In May 2012, she contested elections and became a member of parliament. There is a kind of discrimination based on the color of the skin. The white-skinned people consider the black-skinned people inferior and treat them very badly. 2010, 2012. This is 2021. Just a decade ago, you can say that. 10 years ago. Something which is existing in our society. Inequality, even today. We talk about democracy. We talk about the modern society, advancement in technology, the modern world, the so-called modern people. What is this? Is this modern people, modern world? Next, we have Martin Luther King Jr. Another inequality. Let's see. Martin Luther King Jr. led a movement against racial discrimination. I hope you know what is racial discrimination. Discrimination based on skin color. All right, white, black. You are white, I'm black. Yellow, pink. You are red, I'm brown, I'm green. Like that. In the U.S., the dark-skinned people or the black faced many discrimination and were denied all rights. U.S., America. Martin Luther King Jr. decided to fight for their rights and became the leader of the civil rights movement. In 1964, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Martin Luther King Jr. first experienced racial discrimination when his white neighbors refused to let him play with their boys. On another occasion, he was traveling by bus with his teacher when the driver asked them to stand up and let two white people have their seats. Martin Luther King Jr. decided to fight against such injustice. See, I don't understand how come this thought comes in people's mind, man. Discrimination on the basis of skin color and so on and all. We all are human beings. You cut my skin, you cut your skin, whether I'm black or pink or yellow, that doesn't matter. You are red or white, we'll get the same blood. We get the same pain. And we also go to the same place at the end of the day. Our final destination is same. Where? The soil. Whether we are buried, we are cremated, we are being burnt, cremated, or we are buried, whatever it is being done, ultimately we all mix up with the soil, mud. Then what is this? Something. I know my students, you will always stand against this. Injustice, inequalities. Many people around the world have raised their voice against all such injustice and inequalities. Their combined efforts have resulted in the eradication of inequalities and establishment of democracy as the most popular form of government in the world. So, these are some of the inequalities which existed, or you can say which exist, even somewhere or the other. Today also, if you try to have a deep understanding, you will see some places, or even in our society, some sort of inequalities are there, like as we have discussed, this what you call social inequality, economic inequality and all in the previous topic. But my question is, why this inequality? What do we gain from it? What is the benefit that we have? Do we get anything? Nothing, right? Alright, there's a fact box given, something for our knowledge at the end of page 257. I'll just go through it. Rosa Parks was an African American civil rights activist who is also referred as the mother of the freedom movement. On 1st December 1955, while traveling in a bus in Montgomery, that is Alabama, she refused to obey the bus driver's order to vacate her seat for a white-skinned passenger. This was one of the most important symbols of civil rights movement. See, the black people, supposedly you are being seated in a place and there's a white-skinned person, you'll have to just vacate your place. And the only reason is as because you are a black-skinned person, that fellow is a white-skinned. What is this? Illogical things. Oh, done. Alright, so with this we come to the end of the chapter. Let us just see the chapter in a nutshell. The earliest form of democracy existed in the Greek city-state of Athens. Democracy flourished in the Roman Empire. The American War of Independence and the French Revolution were major steps in the establishment of democratic forms of government around the world. Democracy can be direct or indirect. Equality is the most important factor for the success of democracy. And yes, you have some glossary, that is new word vocabulary. Go through it, memorize it, so that you get enough word for your answers, for your communication as well, and the exercise. Finish it up. All right. As the assignments I've already given, and most of the questions, if you see, those are already, let me just check, yeah, those are already being shared with you the answers and all in the form of assignments. Some of them, yeah, 1 2 maybe it's on your part to be done, so do it, complete it, all right, and go through the chapter. That's very important. Read the text, read the text. And what will happen is that you'll have various benefits. Firstly, it's not only that you will know the chapter well or you'll be well versed with it. Along with it, you will also have, when you read aloud, what happens at home is that you also develop your communication skill. That is another advantage of reading text. Okay, so yes, see you in the next class. Study well and stay at home.